How's that? That's better. All right, well, I'll get in front of the camera. Welcome to the June meeting. We'll get straight underway because it's going to be a long night for Francisco and I. We've still got to unload all this stuff later on. Load it back in and load it. All right, I'll do my normal chat about infrastructure, events and general news. Scott's going to give us a chat about his business and what they sell. He's got his car right here for us to check that out. And then Francisco and I will probably have a little chat about our batteries and what we're doing there. So we'll start with infrastructure. Now, there is a bit to get through. Hopefully I can keep it interesting. Right, I like to start the month, each month, with the free charges and their status. And they're online. Round of applause, please. Nothing to do with me, just I like to present. Right, St. Lucia got replaced, and however, today there was issues with it, so I don't know on PlugShare, but it was charging at 45 or something kilowatts according to PlugShare yesterday, and it had been about a week of usage. The QUT Gardens Point and the QUT Kelvin Grove Library are operational at about half speed. They're at 29, well I was getting 29 kilowatts, but who's complaining when it's free, honestly?
They are DC, I presume.
50 kilowatt DC and it's operating at 29 to 30 kilowatts. I'm not sure what the issue is there. If they've put in some temporary parts, that doesn't sound likely, but they're derated at the moment. But they're online and they're the most heavily used chargers in Brisbane because there's always Uber and DD taxis there for sure. Little update on the stuff that's happening Northside. So the Ampol at Castledine and the Brookside Shopping Centre, they put in, like this is off PlugShare, they're coming in. Just go to the next one, Les. This is the Brookside Shopping Centre. So a lot of the chargers that are going in lately are these Alanga 50 kilowatt with a 49 on the side, and these other 22 kilowatt ones. Next one, bud. Previous months I've mentioned the EV Networks putting one out at Jindalee Home Supercentre, and here it is up and running. I've done a few progress on that. On the south side, next month I should have something to tell you about a Bayside charger. Hopefully. I have shown this has been out for quite a while, but I thought because different people come each month, I'd mention it again this month, but these are all the DC fast chargers that aren't built yet. So there's going to be an explosion of DC fast charging in the next year or so. I believe it's planned to be done within the next 12 months. So I think the Jindalee one here is probably like the first of this list, or coming to the list, but I don't think it's really written anywhere all the owner operators and who's rolling out what. So I kind of hang out on PlugShare just to see what is getting uploaded and bring that info to you, see if I can get a bit of a happy snap from there. But lots and lots to come. And I live up at Redcliffe, and this is an Ampol, and they've like pretty much got excavators and stuff all in there at the moment. Like the whole thing's shut off. So I think Ampol are going to go through a lot of their sites are going through a few renovations in order to get the electricity stuff in there. Okie doke. Many of you will know that the DC fast charging electric superhighway put in by the Queensland government. We had all these phase 1 and phase 2 chargers put in in the last few years, 2018 and 2020, and that the red ones represent phase 3 of this rollout. Now, I wouldn't normally have brought this back up, but they've announced another, just flick over, next one, Les. So Mark Bailey has announced another $1 million to put in 6 more charging stations at Richmond, Kiona, Injune, Rolleston, St George and Cunnamulla. So I was going to make a bit of a graphic about how far the Kona can get, but seeing as I'm right next to this, from what is this one? Miles? No, that's Miles. No, Dolby's back here. Roma. Yeah, it's Roma. From Roma to Emerald is about 400 kilometres. So that gives you an idea, and that's 400 highway, so not the regular stated number of distance you can get. But you don't want to be going, that's almost exactly 400 kilometres. You don't want to be going 400. If your range is 400, 420, obviously you're going to want a little bit left to make it, a bit of a buffer there. So it is kind of convenient to have charges at, because they're not always guaranteed to be online either. So on these long distance outback trips, I think having the more, the merrier it will be. So yeah, good to know. I think they'll probably, I've got an opinion they'll probably put a few in there too, just as a guess, but that's not announced. And one other thing, 1 million divided by 6 was 180,000, I think. 120. So that gives you roughly an idea of how much they're spending on one site to put in one charger. So
there's only one charger.
I think so. That's what they have everywhere else, except for at Hamilton they have 2. Okay, here's the St George one that they're proposing and the Cunnamulla one they're proposing. But I just wanted to show you as well how that kind of interlinks with northern New South Wales. Lismore, Casino, Inverell, Walgett, Brewarrina and Burke are getting chargers installed as well. So, early on, maybe a few years ago, there was, well, even to this point, there's conversation about not having enough charging out rural, out west. So it's nice to see at least something's planned for that area, because I'm sure once enough chargers are in, that people will venture that way for sure. That's about it for the stuff coming up. Just as a regular monthly thing, just a quick rundown of the prices. The ChargeFox / Eureka ones that most people would use on the electric superhighway are 30 cents. EV networks have a bunch of 50 kilowatts, they're 40, and the Gold Coast City Councils are 30, and the 350 for EV networks is 60 cents. And I don't think there's any ChargeFox ones, and I'm still waiting to find out what the 150 kilowatt ampule chargers will be. What's up, mate?
Brisbane City Council, have you heard much from them?
Are they doing anything?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. No, I haven't seen anything. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I've never heard them mention it.
They had one at King George Square.
King George Square, what speed?
They've got AC one. They've got about
No DC, but
no DC.
no DC. Yeah.
About 10 to 22.
It's definitely an opportunity, but potentially with the Queensland government's investment in having them around Brisbane and the likes, perhaps they haven't seen it necessary. But the more the merrier. They can see in the maybe they've been part of the Future Fuels Fund. It's hard to get any information from the government at times as to what they are and aren't doing, even when you promote DC charges each and every month. So don't worry, I've tried. We've got a few events coming up to mention. There was the Gladstone and Yeppoon events that happened, and they were quite well attended. This Sunday, we've got the RSEQ Motorfest and Noosa EV Expo that I've been mentioning each month for the last few months. Is anyone going to Noosa? Okay. I'm leaving early from North Lakes IKEA if you want to go up with me. If you're just going to, I'm putting the Kona, and Nathan with the Honda is coming up, and we're going to display our cars with the AEVA stall. So if you want to come up, just mention to me afterwards, and we can organise it. But it'll be an early start because we have to kind of bump in early. So RACQ Motorfest, who's going to that one? Okay, all right, perfect. All right. Are you going to that one, Les?
I just show up. Because we have an EV section, so.
I haven't coordinated anything for the RSEQ Motorfest because I'm going to Noosa, so.
Yeah. No, just roll up, it's fine.
So they want to check in about 7:30, don't they?
Yeah.
You have to have registered though, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Mr. Waterworth has been having regular meetings at the Brackenridge Tavern, just catch-ups, coffee and cake, and that next one's on the 22nd of June. I think they're on a Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. On the 2nd and 3rd of July, I'm doing a stall for AEVA at the Electric Dreams at the RNA Showgrounds. That's a 2-day thing. I wouldn't mind if people would like to go. If you want to let me know, and you can maybe get a ticket from me, organised by the event organisers, with the caveat of maybe just helping me at the AVA stall, just answering some people's questions. But I've got a limited amount of tickets that I can get for people, but I just need their names essentially. The national body is doing the extraordinary general meeting just to ratify the Constitution. If you're interested in that type of thing, Carmageddon. Does anyone know what Carmageddon is? Okay. What's that? MTAQ, yeah. Okay. That was a pop quiz. So I spoke there last year. Haven't been asked to come back. It must have been pretty good. But I will be going there. I was asked to display but not to talk. Yeah, I'm too boring. Yeah, they do I think this year it's more about the effect that, because this is like mechanic industry and that type of stuff, and they're going to have, I've seen a bit of a rundown for the day, and that's more about how EVs are disrupting the mechanic trade and that type of thing. But there are they do get a lot of it's kind of like a mini EV event where they get some of the dealerships to bring in their newer EVs, so that's always good to have a bit of a look at. National Conference in ACT, 5th to the 7th of August, Gympie Envirotech Day, 6th of August, and the big one for us, Cleveland EV Experience. I guess I'll put it on the record right now that I would really like to see everyone that attends these meetings come to this event. We're probably going to have the first serious sort of committee meeting about it next Wednesday, and I'll invite all the main people from last year that helped organise it. But we're doing a bit of a different layout with the cars, but other than that, we're doing most things pretty similar. But we do want a couple of people to help out, but we're not going to ask you to do all that much, just to maybe be a traffic warden or, just help people setting up their displays know where they go when they're setting up. So nothing too difficult.
There's also the Chrysler.
The Chrysler Car Club have something on the same day, and Les keeps mentioning it on the day when we're doing the biggest EV show that we've got.
Hey, Colin's
So if you don't want to go to the biggest EV show in Queensland and you want to go to the Chrysler Car Club, you're more than welcome to. It's at Rockley. Maybe you can fit both in at this on the same day.
It doesn't have to be a large one, but we need a present.
A presence.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sure, mate. What time is it?
I don't know. Yeah.
6 a.m.
That's
for bumping. Okay. Well, maybe you can pop over there in the morning and then come over to Cleveland for 10 o'clock and put your car on display.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've set up some stuff to see if anyone can spare a car.
Okay. What's the presence in your mind? Just so we're on the same page. One EV or?
No, I was hoping for a few Teslas.
3.
Like 3.
Okay.
Like one of each.
Okay, mate.
A few other cars. Like, nothing massive.
Nothing massive.
Yeah.
Okay, got ya.
No, I did tell them it's on at the same time as
Yeah.
another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to know.
I'm aiming for 100 EVs at the Cleveland show, all right? So if I get 97, I won't be happy, all right? Yeah, I want to, the purpose of the Cleveland show, is a show of how far EVs have come and to show the public that there's a range of different EVs, maybe get them in one just to see what it's like, touchy-feely type of situation, but we'll have I think we're going to push a bit more for some scooters and bikes and stuff to be there this year, but I really want it to be the place to go at least once a year to see all the stuff that happens with EVs, so whether it's charging or other stuff people are doing in that space, but most of you would have gone to last year, so you know what, I don't anticipate changing it too much from last year. All right, quickly I'll get through the news and then we'll get Scotty up here to talk about his stuff. So, you may have heard there was a change of government. Labor got over the line and I just thought I'd pop in what their policy is for EVs because that's likely to probably have some impact on us. There's a lot of writing there, it's probably slightly small, but I'll paraphrase, and that is coming in on the 1st of July, EVs will be exempt from 5% import tax that's currently applied to some EVs, and for those cars that maybe do leasing and people get a company fringe benefits tax, the 47% tax will be dropped. So you might see, and that's for cars under 77,000. So you may see businesses starting to really ramp up their adoption of EVs because there's a tax break, essentially. The other bits and pieces, I mean, you can just read this on the net. There's nothing super critical in this, but they're going to leverage their position and see if they can help in the manufacturing of batteries, possibly the cars themselves, and see if there's any ways they can address policy implications for declining fuel excise, which in my mind only means they're going to bring in an EV tax of some sort, but that's a nice way of writing it. Labor will consider how the Commonwealth's existing investment in infrastructure can be leveraged to increase charging stations across the country and consider how other existing Commonwealth investments such as fleet, property and leases can also be leveraged. So at least they acknowledge EVs exist, so there's a few bits and pieces there that not going to change our lives per se, but at least that's a start. And we need a signal to manufacturers that we are actually serious about EVs so that they start to bring them here. We get that model availability, which then pushes prices down because it increases competition. So that's what we're hoping for. You may have also heard the Tesla Model Y became available on the Tesla site on the configurator, so you can go on there and order one. Apparently there's been way more demand than they were expecting. I even saw a tweet from Elon Musk replying to someone saying the demand was way higher than they thought. It came out 3 days ago, and I think the initial idea of time frame was November to January, somewhere around there.
August, September for rear-wheel drive.
Okay, perfect.
And then
We'll see.
November to February for performance.
Have you ordered one? August, you reckon?
For rear-wheel only.
Ooh.
The first deliveries they're saying that will, and then, but already if you order now, you push back on it.
Yeah. The thing I saw was that March to July next year for some of the variants. So I've seen these timeframes come up time and again, and I figure you take what they say and add a few months, and that's really where it comes to. So we'll see. All right, it's your turn on the mic now. So that's it from me. Scott, up you come. Thank you very much.
No worries, thank you. G'day guys, thanks for coming out on a Wednesday night. We're Scooters EV Services. My name's Scott, and I know ScoMo apparently never said that we were going to ruin weekends, but we're helping you ruin your weekend. That's our little logo. So we do everything on EVs to help you transition from a normal car, whether that be charging, tow bars, accessories, all that kind of stuff. No, we do not sell scooters. Scooter is my nickname. So it's Scooters EV Services. So no, we don't sell scooters. Our primary thing we do is the Model 3 tow bar. It's the Stealth tow bar. We believe it's the only one that has been tested in Australia. There are a few claiming to be compliant. There are a few claiming to be compliant, but we're understanding that we're the only ones that have done the testing and they're tested for the Model 3. For those people who go on about the insurance and the warranty and all that kind of stuff, Model 3 has been certified to tow in Australia by Tesla. That was done by the Toka Group, lobbied them to do it. They weren't going to do it, they did it. So it is certified to tow, and it's just a third-party towing on there. So as far as warranty and that's concerned, they have to prove that the tow bar caused the issue, so we haven't had any issues so far. As a matter of fact, Tesla now hand out our cards to install tow bars because they can't. And again, you've probably heard, breaking news, the Water Y is available. We have a bar that has just been approved and tested for Australia. So it will be the Torquelift Eco Hitch, and we are now taking pre-orders for them because we do not want to get caught behind, and we've already got lots coming in saying they want the tow bar. So if you are getting a Model Y and you want a tow bar, let us know. Slightly different, the Stealth one is not available at the moment, and they have a cover in here that comes off the back of the tow bar, the back of the diffuser, so you can actually access the tow bar. We all good? Yep. The Model 3, when you get them from Shanghai, they do not have a tow bar hatch for the diffuser. We can drill a hole and access that way, which you can't really see, but there is now a actual Tesla part with a tow bar hatch, which comes on the cars in America, but not out of Shanghai, I don't know why. So we now offer that diffuser as well. A couple of other products that we it just goes hand in hand with most people that have got a Tesla. They've got an e-mountain bike or they've got an e-bike or something like that. So there's a couple of bike racks that we do. The one that's on the back of the vehicle tonight, which I'll give you a quick demonstration of in a minute, is the Q8 NV 2.0. And then we have the 1UP Super Duty as well, which is all available through, we're partnering with EV Stealth Solutions out of Sydney. So they're importing them and getting them in here. Ratings, obviously, rated for EV bikes. Really good racks. I personally like this one a bit better. It looks a bit better, but it's up to people's personal choice. Consumption. Probably our number one question when people get a tow bar fitted is consumption. How's this going to affect my consumption? A lot. That's the easiest answer. A lot. We roughly about half we're seeing across the board. Now, things that can affect that, you'll see at 60 kilometres an hour, your projected range has gone up, your average has come down. We drive this thing like we stole it. So these are our figures. And this is towing a tandem trailer. I don't know if you've seen any photos. There was one back on the previous one that's towing a fairly big tandem trailer at the time. That is like towing a brick. It is not aerodynamic. It is not light. So the faster we go, the more wind resistance we have, less coefficient, and we see the figures go skyrocket. And the way I drive, it skyrockets as well. So when we're driving around town, we're not good. We put 20-inch tyres on this thing to make it stand out and all the rest. It's averaging about 150 to 175 on average. We're doing everything bad for efficiency on this car. So yeah, but towing does affect your efficiency, and when you are trying to project range, we've been caught a couple of times, not flat, but caught waiting to charge somewhere where we never thought we'd charge. So just be in mind when you are towing something. Weight doesn't seem to affect it too much. You know, or you guys are here, you know that electric cars have great torque. So the weight doesn't seem to affect it efficiency-wise, very minimal. It's more the wind resistance. The faster you go, the more it's going to push back, the more your range is going to go down. We've got a couple of hashtags. Hashtag ruined weekend. We did not start that one, but we're hijacking it. And a couple of customers, well, these are obviously my car, or actually Rachel's car. And this is actually a customer of ours. They came up from Yeppoon, got the tow bar fitted, and then went to, I think, Tassie to pick the caravan up, drove it all the way back to Yeppoon. Even with that little teardrop caravan, they were seeing a little bit under half the range. A little bit over half, sorry, so a little bit, it was not too bad, but even they were seeing some depleted range, so, and they've got a long range. But they're out ruining weekends. So Tesla towing and ruined weekend. Ruined weekend one's an awesome one. If you haven't been on it, go and have a look at it. It's a Facebook site, it's a Instagram hashtag, and it's just about EVs getting out there and doing stuff that people think they can't do. Even driving here tonight, we pulled up, lady with a Tesla, come up. I didn't know they could tow. Yes, they can. So just getting that word out there that it can tow, and you can ruin some weekends and have some fun. And I mean, that's why we got them, really. They're a fun car to drive. I don't care what electric car you've got, they're just fun. And we can all have these agendas of saving the environment and all that kind of stuff, which is great. But me, I'm just having fun. I love it. We do the accessories. So while we do the tow bars, if you want accessories and that put on, we do all your accessories at the same time. So swivel screen, little wanky puddle lights, and calipers and things like that. So that's about all I've got to say. Oh, they are great for towing. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but the camera, I have it out most of the time when I'm towing the big trailer, because you can see down both sides of the trailer. You can see what's happening with the hitch. and it's just, your vision in these things is amazing with the cameras, so towing with them is pretty good. You do get the bars here coming up. It doesn't beep at you, it just lets you know there's something there, which is the trailer. Doesn't affect my autopilot, so which is great. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll quickly demonstrate this Q8 bike rack now. I might need two hands at some stage, but I'll put this down and pick it up.
Two more?
Hey?
Need two more hands?
Oh, you'll be right. So the Q8 bike rack, that's it folded up. Doesn't come with a light bar, so we make these to go on them. While it's in this position, it has a bike rack. Ooh, that's not meant to come out that far. It has a bike rack that is made to do maintenance on your bike. As far as I know, it's about one of the only ones that has this function on the bike rack, so you can maintain your bike while you're out. It can be pole or for the seat post. So it'll grip your seat post or your pole, either one. When it's in it's fairly sturdy in there. It's got a cam lock on the hitch itself. It also comes with a locking pin as a part of the kit, so it locks on there. It's easy putting it down. All you do is push this and pull it down till it clicks. Pretty easy. You put your bike on. We put these over that way. You put your bike on, and then you lift this over the front wheel, and then you just clamp it down. Strap around the back wheel, and then each cylinder has its own lock. You can turn around and lock in the bike. So they're in each one. It's also easily accessible for if you've got bikes on, you can't open the tailgate. You put it down, you can open your tailgate, get it to everything inside, and still up like that. And then when you want to fold it back up, it's back up. The ratings on the bike racks, 27 kilos per rack on these, 27.2 I think it is. So most EV mountain bikes will get in there. Occasionally you've got heavier mountain bikes, and the one up will do the heavier 34 kilo for each bike. The Q8 also, this section comes out, and you can put in an additional 2 bikes. Personally, I think that's getting to trailer width. You might as well go and put a trailer on, because it's getting out there. But you can do it if you want. You can put 4 bikes on. You do have to watch your clearance a little bit, steep driveways and things like that. But generally, there's a lot of these getting around up our end from the sunny coast, and a lot of them getting around at Noosa. They love their e-bikes and stuff like that up there. So, yeah, that's about it. Have I forgotten anything? No, that's about it. Questions? On bike rack, $1,350. I'm pretty sure. I didn't check that before I came. I think it's $1,350. Tow bars for the Model 3 are $2,800 installed. They're a deer bar, but when you see the engineering that goes in behind the stealth bar especially, they're a masterpiece of equipment. So when you do take that out, it completely disappears. You wouldn't even know you've got a tow bar on there. So if you want your car looking nice without a tow bar when you're not towing, then that's the bar to have. The one-up is about $1,500, the one-up. And yeah, that's about it.
You do some accessories for the prices on that?
To get in contact with us for prices on that, I can't remember all of them. Jeez, mate. Yeah, so prices on anything like that, get in contact with us. We'll shoot you out a client sheet, and it has them all listed on there. You can just tick a box and we do it all for you at once. So.
Do you have a website?
No website. personally don't like websites. That's just my... we operate off Facebook and Instagram.
The maximum trailer?
Maximum trailer is 1,000, for the Model Y is 1,000 kilo braked and 100 kilo ball weight. For the Model 3. The Y is 1,600 and 150 kilos. So the Model Y is going to be the one that, if you are doing some serious towing, that's the one you're going to do. Now, I know we're on camera and we're live and all the rest of it. I've towed like 2.5 tonne with that. No problems. But don't do it if you're going to get legally caught. Like, you don't want to have an accident, but just to prove I could do it, I did it. On a private road and all the rest. So, but yeah, it's the torque and that from them is unbelievable. You just don't even feel the weight there. It's really good. I think the Polestar is coming in at about 1,500. I think. We're also looking into getting a Ioniq 5. EV5. EV6 tow bar, trying to get them in the country. Kia can't actually get them, so we're looking at getting one from the United Kingdom. We've got an EV6 up my end of the woods at Sunny Coast at the moment that wants one fitted, and he's a friend, so we're going to try and fit his for him. So once we get that on board, then we'll let everyone know. But we are trying for other models for you. We're not just we are predominantly Tesla, but we'll do any vehicle that needs a tow bar. If we can get it for you, we will. And same with the charging. So I'm an electrician by trade as well, so we do the charging at the same time. So if we're there to put a tow bar on, we put the charger on for you, do your accessories, get you all set up so that life's easy with an EV. Yep.
Does the steel bar fold up or is it?
No, it completely detaches. I might actually...
How to refit it when you want to refit it?
Not really. I do it all the time, so it's not something... I show my clients when we do it, and usually by the second time they're like, oh no, I got this. So it's not that hard. It does take a little bit of knowing what's under there to feel around, otherwise you have to put your head under, which is harder. But once you know what's there and what to do, it's actually fairly easy. Anyone else?
All good?
All good? Thanks for having us, guys, and keep having fun.
Thank you very much for bringing that in. It's a serious looking...
I'll demonstrate the removal later.
Yeah. We don't have to do everything on camera.
Yeah, that'll take too long.
Yeah, no, that's very good. I mean, I'm not into biking myself, but that looks like the piece of gear that you need if you are, for sure.
It's one of the best racks I've seen on the market now.
Yep. Very good, very good. Okay, Francisco, how do you want to do this? We've got a technical challenge to overcome, and that's not getting the batteries here and in the hall. It's shall we swivel round and talk from over there? Because we don't have a PowerPoint presentation for this or anything, so might just come and I'll angle the camera over there and we'll just all turn around if that's all right with everyone.
I think we'll just answer questions.
Let's have a look. I've got Zoom on the camera, so maybe I'll have to utilise that. Is that good? Just ad hoc. Okay. All right, so Francisco can perhaps talk first.
I'm not really sure what to say.
Yeah.
just have a look and ask.
But basically, this is part of the battery that Francisco's built himself that's for his electric Pajero four-wheel drive project. It's a bit insane, I've seen it already. But pretty much no one has actually done anything else on this other than you, right? No, it's completely machined and built by himself. So you can imagine the level of technical ability that requires, but
Still learning how to put it together.
still learning how to put it together. Okay, let's perhaps just do questions about, because we haven't prepared a speech for this, and then I can talk about my battery as well. But okay,
Sorry?
this is designed this way. I'll help you out, eh?
Yeah,
Okay. So there's going to be another one of these on this side, and the motor goes, motor goes that way and one motor goes that way. So this is only like a portion of the overall battery. Okay, so you can see how it angles a bit like this, because that's the shape of the battery's a square with a triangle, kind of like a house. If you drew a picture of a house, that's kind of the shape of the battery. So why don't you speak about, okay, Kona cells, aren't they?
I'm not really sure if they're Kona cells, but I think they're used in a lot of EVs. I don't really know which ones, but the important part of these cells is that they got the tabs on opposite sides.
They're pouch cells?
Yeah, pouch cells. So the tabs are on opposite sides, which means that I can clamp one tab of one cell to the next one. So there is no need to put a bus bar in between the cells. So that saves on weight and also reduces the internal resistance.
Okay. What are we actually even looking at here? Like, what have you done?
What's the pack voltage?
This
voltage.
one is 36S, so it's about 144 volts fully charged. The whole car is 98S, so it's going to be about 370 or something like that.
Oh, I was wondering if that was going to happen.
Yeah. Anyway. So this weighs
Nothing
about.
to see here.
This weighs about 150 kilos and is 31.5 kilowatt hours for this piece. So that's roughly about 210 watt hours per kilogram for the whole thing. So not just the cells, but the entire, all the cooling pipes, the manifolds and everything.
So that's an important point, and that is this DIY battery has cooling. Is it going through?
It's
here?
going through all the
This-
pipes. You can see there's a lot of pipes.
Yeah. So the pipes add structure as
Yeah.
well as
So you can see, you can lift.
utility of.
So you can lift this. Basically, you could actually hold this end and stand in the middle, and it will hold itself up.
Yeah.
So,
But this comes off, right, and that comes off, and there'll be a manifold on either end.
A manifold. At the moment, all I've done is made a plastic plate that is about the same size as the manifold, so that I can hold all the pipes together. If I don't hold the pipes together, then it kind of gets a bit difficult to lift. And I also want to make sure that I could actually physically put this onto all of the pipes. So, getting all the pipes to fit into all of the holes is kind of a bit of a challenge. So I've had to develop ways of making sure that they all go in easily. The BMS, there's some boards that will go into this gap, which are actually the BMS as well. So the BMS will be built in. Yep.
Any other questions? Surely, there's a million questions.
Sorry? Say again?
100 kilowatt hour.
For the total, 85 kilowatt hours.
Yeah. So okay. So it's 370 volt.
It's about 250 amp hour, 240 amp hour.
Yeah. Well, perhaps because we haven't got a organised presentation, perhaps just as questions come up afterwards, we can do it. But it's a pretty insane thing that you're doing, mate. And yeah, I've seen the Pajero getting that to actually work hasn't used this battery, and there's a side project of electrifying the Pajero as well in preparation for this battery to be ready. So it's very, very interesting. We might leave that there. I'll give you a bit of a rundown on what I've been doing. I did present this maybe 6 months ago, just in some pictures of what's happening, but I bought a property that doesn't have electricity up at Conondale, which is north of Woodford and west of Mullaney. And instead of running a 2.5 kilowatt generator, petrol generator, I wanted a different solution, and these were the batteries straight out of Graham's Suzuki Swift EV conversion. So they were in the Nissan Leaf initially, because these are Nissan Leaf cells. Then Graham took them and put them in his Suzuki, and then he wanted to renew his batteries, and I bought them off him. And I think this is an interesting point to make, is that very few of these type of cells, these EV batteries, are going to end up in landfill. I think that's a bit of a concern from authorities, but I just can't really see it happening. I think there's enough people with DIY ability to do something like this, but fortunately I found Francisco who can do this type of thing, and he's helped me do this. So we got 42 Nissan Leaf cells, and my inverter, you have to modules with 2 cells each, okay, 96. 4 cells. Oh, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Well, but the early ones, did they have 4? The later ones have more? Because sometimes I see 2, like a 2-pack in the later ones. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. What are the voltages then? 3 something? 4 volts each? Okay. Putting you on the spot. Okay. Well, 42 modules, and for the inverter to operate, it's a MPP Solar 48 volt inverter that's 8 kilowatt, and in order for that to work, the cell voltages, or the module voltages to be correct, are around about 8 volts fully charged, about 8.1, something like that, and therefore I had to put 6 in parallel and 7 in series. So that gets the 48 volt, or it goes up to, so it's about 56 volts when it's fully charged. And yeah, what else? So it is degraded, and it's 10 kilowatt hours, and I think that's approximately 50%, I think, from what I worked out. But considering their age, you know, I don't expect future EV batteries to have this level of degradation. If these were out of, look, I didn't know the history, and I didn't ask any questions, to be honest. Graham said, do you want these? This is the price. And I said, yes, I do. Pretty much because I knew I wanted electricity and rather than running petrol up at the property. Because I only run like some fluoros in the shed. Like I have a shed that I stay in. I have a tent inside the shed, you know, so it's not like it's a camping setup with a shed, basically. But I didn't want to be running the generator, you know, just to power a corded tool or a fridge, that type of stuff. So at the moment, I run a gas fridge, I run a petrol generator for lights, and this would be very convenient in replacing all of that. Obviously, there's another step to it, and that's the solar, and I've been helped out with that. I've got some very cheap panels that I need to, I'll be building a ground mount, but it's been raining like crazy for the last few months, so I haven't really gotten a chance to do too much. I'll skip to some of the testing. So for instance, this, obviously one of the steps was just putting it all together, but then Francisco has it so you can just look up on your phone what the voltages and everything are from the cell monitors. So he can probably tell you right now the state of charge and all that type of stuff. Doesn't need Wi-Fi. It's the BMS has its own signal, so very convenient. And I can modify that beep before, that little piezo noise before was that the BMS had detected something. And then you look on the phone, one cell might have been low for just a fraction of a second according to the BMS. So it is currently balancing at the moment. But what else was I going to say? Yeah, I haven't, in the testing, so we charged it up off Francisco's workshop on the solar, and then discharged it. Well, charged it right up and discharged it to get the capacity. And in the testing, I actually charged the IMEV and the Kona at the same. That was our discharge test. So I hooked up the chargers to that wiring there. That very safe wiring, and discharged into 2 EVs at the same time. So that was a good test, actually. So other than that, happy to field any questions.
That's what a casing rig is, the whole thing in. It's got your exposed bars in it.
Yeah. Good. I brought the Perspex thing along with me tonight. This isn't 100% finished. I have put these on. It's going to have, I bought a big piece of Perspex to go across there. But no one goes to my property, not even me. So it's going to be pretty safe from human contact. Yeah, obviously moving it is the main concern. I have done the videos of building it. They're online if you want to have a check that process out. And perhaps someone wrote in the comments that I wasn't being that safe, but it wasn't you. Okay. Yeah, those brackets are on there in anticipation of the Perspex sheet. I just didn't want to do it all until we were all 100% tested and stuff, but we're pretty much at that point now. 180. Yeah, because yeah, Francisco had a little weight thing here at his workshop. So 180, which is kind of just a tiny bit inconvenient for moving with say 2 people. But yeah, it's gonna propose a interesting challenge when I get it to Conondale, because it's going to go in that trailer. I'm going to have to strap it, and because the road to Conondale is dirt and gets washed away by the amount of rain we have, and you need a 4-wheel drive on my driveway. Basically, I have a 1 kilometre driveway, and it winds up a hillside, and it will bounce. So I do have to work out the technical challenge of getting it to the property. Once it's there, happy days, you know. But I would suggest I'll probably do something maybe a bit more thorough than this. This is just Francisco's workshop stuff, but yeah, I will. It'll probably get picked up by the tractor, I would say, somehow. Haven't quite gotten that far, Jeff. Any other questions? It is. Yeah, it's been a really fun project. One of the other, I guess, the ideology of this was cost as well. So I bought these cells, 10 kilowatt hours for $1,700, as opposed to $10,000 if you bought a brand new 10 kilowatt hour battery. Tesla Powerwall around that same capacity, and they're probably 14,000 if prices haven't gone up. The inverter was pretty much the only thing I bought new. That was $2,000 and is currently $2,300 because I bought it before everything's gone a bit crazy. The panels I bought, I'll just use round figures, but let's say 2 kilowatts of panels for $150, and an AEVA member helped me out and gave me another 3 kilowatts for free, so that was helpful. I will probably use materials from around my property to build the ground mount. The panels that I got for free actually came with a whole bunch of structural gear to, he had them on the roof and with a tilt mechanism, so that's pretty much the next step. So all in all, I was hoping, I haven't paid Francisco yet. I'm paying him in favours. All the bits and pieces, probably looking at under $5,000 or very close to, which with an ideology of reusing stuff. This casing's the original Nissan Leaf case. You know, I've only had to, like, this cable's a little bit expensive, but everything else is pretty easy to get. The BMS and cell monitors. This contactor was like $180 or something. It was quite expensive, but that's what you need. So yeah, I was pretty happy to get out of it for $5,000 when an electricity connection to my property would be hundreds of thousands of dollars probably. So that's about it.
What are you thinking of running? Lights, refrigeration?
Fridge. Need a beer fridge. I need, one of the things, like when you go camping, if you have a generator, is you don't want the noise of the generator. It's convenient, but you don't want the noise, right? And I have complete and utter silence, except for a 2.5 kilowatt generator just running, just because, like, I might sit around the fire, but I can hear the generator because I've got the lights on in the shed, and I don't want to start the generator every time I want to leave the shed or come back to the shed, So with this, essentially, I can leave a fridge running there and it just charges up from the sun. And I've got to be careful, I guess, in the application that I use it for, that I figure like 10 kilowatt hours would probably run a fridge with no solar with zero solar. I would suggest it would probably run it for 4 days if it's just the fridge, and the fridge is doing 80 to 100 watts. So 100 watts per hour is, say, 2.5 kilowatt hours a day, and this is a 10 kilowatt hour battery, so 4 days with just the fridge and nothing else. I mean, the worst that can happen is basically the fridge turns off until solar charges the battery. So
You haven't got you're not going to use your generator backup in the solar?
I probably might, this doesn't have the functionality, I don't think. This probably has the functionality to run a generator, but I don't think the generator has the functionality. It's a pull start. Probably one of the only small mistakes I made in the entire... I actually wanted a Honda and they gave me a Westinghouse. They said it was the same thing, so I just went with that. But yeah, that's about it. We can break and have tea and coffee now if people have finished listening. By all means, ask me questions. We might even turn it on off camera. Eh? So thank you very much, and let's break.